What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to talk about the payment dates for Social Security recipients. And we just got the information, the COLA. So the COLA increase will be 2.8%. So we're going to go over the payment dates for November, as well as we'll talk about the payment dates when we'll see that increase for people receiving Social Security benefits. So we're going to focus on those things in this video. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. If you watch this video and you find this information helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me show you the calendar. So this is coming straight from the Social Security Administration. So this is their information here. And let me just show you the bottom here first, because I do have people, sometimes they'll ask me, well, how do I figure all this stuff out? If you go to the Social Security website, so if you want to pull this information, just go to their website, or you could just in a Google search, just type in Social Security payment schedule, and this will come up, and then you can take a look at it. Now, what you want to do is you want to go down to the bottom, because the bottom will give you the information that you need as far as who is, what these colors mean and what the squares mean and all of that. And so what we're looking at here is we're looking at this blue color here. This is the second Wednesday, so that's for people whose birthdays fall between the 1st and the 10th. And then the third Wednesday, that is for people whose birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th. And then when you have this little indicator here, that's the fourth Wednesday, and that's for people whose birthdays fall between the 21st and 31st. And then when it comes to SSI, it's this circle here. And then when we look at Social Security, so people who started receiving Social Security prior to May of 1997. And then it says, or if you're receiving both Social Security and SSI, Social Security is paid on the 3rd and SSI is paid on the 1st. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at November. So looking at November, the first payment is going to go out on the 3rd, and that is for people who started receiving Social Security prior to May of 1997. Okay, now you're looking at this and you're saying, well, where's SSI? I don't see SSI on here at all. If you go over to October, you see that 2 checks went out in October. So one went out on the 1st, and the next one will go out on the 31st. And so the reason that they're doing that is because it's Halloween. No, I'm kidding. The reason that they're doing that is because Saturday, the 1st falls on a Saturday. And so that's why they're doing that. And so looking at the Wednesdays here, so the 12th, that's for people whose birthdays fall between the 1st and the 10th. And then when we get to the 19th, that's for people whose birthdays fall between the 11th and the 20th. And then on the 26th, that's for people whose birthdays fall between the 21st and the 31st. So those are the payment dates right now. So let's talk about this increase. So we're going to see this COLA increase. When will that come into play? So for people receiving SSI on the 31st, that is the first check that you'll receive. It's really for January 2026. So because you're receiving it on the 31st, because the 1st is a holiday, you are going to see the increase on that date. Okay, so only people receiving SSI. And then after that, if we go into January, looking at January, and this is 2026. And so the first time that you're going to see that COLA increase amount, people receiving Social Security benefits, it's going to be on the 2nd. And then we have the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th. And it corresponds with what we just talked about, the 1st to the 10th. So if your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th, that's going to be on the 14th. And then the 21st, that's going to be people whose birthday fall between the 11th and the 20th. And then on the 28th, that's going to be people whose birthday fall between the 21st and the 31st. So you're going to see your COLA increase at that time. And then on the 30th, people receiving SSI, you're going to get your check for February. Okay, so remember, in December, you're going to get your check for January. And then in January, you're going to get your check for February. So hopefully I'm not confusing you here, but you can see what I'm saying here. And so because the 1st would fall on this Sunday, you're not going to receive your check on the weekend. So you're going to receive it before, so you receive it on the 30th. And then when we move into February, guess what? Same situation. You're not going to receive a check in early February, but on February 27th, people receiving SSI, you're going to receive that check because March 1st falls on a Sunday. So it's going to be the same situation. And then in March, you see there are no checks going out to people receiving SSI benefits. And so just be aware of that. If you're receiving SSI benefits, you're going to have some back-to-back months where it's going to be a little off, because you might receive 2 checks in 1 month and none in the next month, or 2 checks in 1 month and then 1 check in the following month, and then no checks in March. So just be aware of how that works. And I want to answer a couple of quick questions, because I've had some people ask questions in the comments when it comes to Social Security, when it comes to COLA. Who gets COLA? So people receiving Social Security as a retiree, people who receive spousal benefits, survivor benefits, people who receive SSDI, SSI, even veterans. Veterans uses the same metric when it comes to the cost of living adjustment. So those are the people that are going to see that increase to their checks. And then the next question people are asking, will we still receive our checks? So you guys should know by now, and I've talked about this before, when it comes to a government shutdown, yes, you're still going to receive your checks. However, if we see a prolonged government shutdown, which we could potentially see, I mean, we're already seeing that now, there could be some delays. We could have some issues when it comes to distribution of the Social Security checks and all of that. So that's just something to be aware of. When it comes to the actual cost of living adjustment, doing that calculation, will that be automatic? The hope is that it will be, and there won't be any delays with that. But just be aware, if the government is shut down, things are going to slow down. You still have essential workers that are working, but a lot of these essential workers, they're working and they're not getting paid. So because they're not getting paid, you have some essential workers that are saying, I'm just going to call in sick and I'm going to drive Uber or Lyft or something like that to make money. Because you have to think about it from their point of view. They're working for free, so they're not getting any money, but they still have to pay their bills. And so some people are saying, you know what? I'm taking a vacation. I'm going to be sick, and I'm going to go out and make money so I can pay for rent, so I can pay for my mortgage, pay for food. And so we're now starting to see this. And as this shutdown prolongs, we're going to see disruptions in a lot of different areas. And right now we're hearing a lot about air traffic controllers calling in sick because they're going off and doing other jobs because they don't want to just work for free. They can't just work for free. And so that is going to impact, especially during holiday season, that's going to impact travel. And so there's a lot that's going on right now. You have military that are not getting their full payments. And I think the 15th of November, service members will not get paid. I know that there was a donation of $130 million. That's not enough to pay our military. And so now we have a military that potentially will not get paid if they can't come to some type of resolution when it comes to this government shutdown. So we're just going to have to stay tuned to see where all that goes. But I just wanted to let you guys know when it comes to the payment dates for November, as well as the increased amounts for COLA, we just went over those. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.